still waters. Fear of losing one's way, he restores my soul. Fear of darkness and evil, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Each line, Cayce suggested, should be absorbed slowly, meditated upon, allowed to sink from the conscious mind into the subconscious, where beliefs actually form and where the autonomic patterns of thought and emotion take shape. Speaking the psalm rapidly as mere words accomplishes little. Breathing the psalm into your consciousness as living truth, feeling each phrase dissolve a specific fear, this is the practice Cayce advocated. The 91st Psalm received equally strong emphasis in Cayce's readings, particularly for those facing specific dangers, challenges, or periods of intense stress. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. Cayce explained that dwelling and abiding are not passive states, but active choices of consciousness. Where does your mind dwell? What thoughts do you abide in? The soul that chooses to dwell in awareness of the Most High, in conscious connection with divine presence, creates around itself what Cayce called a protective shield, not a physical barrier, but a vibrational field that attracts helpful forces and deflects harmful ones. The psalm continues with extraordinary promises. No evil shall befall you, no plague come near your tent, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Cayce took these promises absolutely literally, not in a superstitious sense, but in terms of spiritual law. When consciousness is attuned to the divine, when fear and negativity are not given room to operate, the soul naturally aligns with protective and benevolent forces in the unseen realms. The angels mentioned in Scripture, Cayce taught, are not separate beings bestowing arbitrary favors. They represent aspects of divine consciousness, patterns of helpful energy that flow naturally towards souls, vibrating at frequencies of faith, love, and trust. If you are finding value in these insights, take a moment now to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can continue receiving content that deepens your spiritual understanding and practice. Your engagement helps this message reach others who are searching for authentic spiritual wisdom. Psalm 121 functions as a morning affirmation of divine vigilance and care. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. Cayce pointed out that the question and answer format of this psalm reflects the natural dialogue between the conscious mind, which sees problems and challenges, and the higher self or soul, which knows the true source of assistance. In the morning, the conscious mind often wakes already burdened by the anticipated challenges of the day. This psalm redirects attention from problems to source, from circumstances to the creative power that brought all circumstances into existence. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Every day involves going out into the world and coming back to yourself, engaging with external demands and returning to inner peace. Cayce taught that this rhythm of expansion and contraction, of activity and rest, of manifestation and meditation, must be consciously sanctified, deliberately placed under divine oversight, rather than left to the ego's anxious management. Psalm 19 shifts focus from protection and guidance to revelation and wisdom. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech, night after night they reveal knowledge. Cayce loved this psalm because it speaks to the teaching function of creation itself. Before scripture, before prophets, before any organized religion, the universe was already teaching, already revealing, already pouring forth knowledge about its creator. When you begin your day with this psalm, Cayce suggested, you attune yourself, not just to divine protection but to divine instruction. You become receptive to the lessons embedded in everything you encounter. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The decrees of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. These lines remind us that spiritual law is not arbitrary or punitive, but perfect, designed to restore life and consciousness to their highest functioning. Many of Cayce's readings dealt with people suffering from the consequences of violating spiritual law through selfishness, materialism, sensuality, or other soul-damaging patterns. The Psalms, he emphasized, realign consciousness with these laws, before the day's choices and reactions take form. Psalm 34 introduces the theme of experiential knowledge over theoretical belief. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. Cayce appreciated this psalm's invitation to direct experience rather than second-hand doctrine. The spiritual life is not about believing the right things, but about tasting divine goodness in lived experience, about seeing divine action in real circumstances, about taking actual refuge in spiritual practices that produce tangible results. The psalm continues with practical wisdom. Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Morning is the time to establish the intention that will govern speech and action throughout the day. Cayce taught that speech carries tremendous creative power because thoughts crystallize into words, and words condition and direct the life force itself. What you speak, you reinforce.